Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IFYL. It's so great to be with you again this wonderful evening. It is Sunday, January 22nd, 2023, just about 9:05 p.m. And welcome. If you're new, grab your smartphone, point it over to that QR code, touch the yellow oval. You'll get my link tray with lots of great information to improve the quality of your life and so many other people you care so much about. We start, ladies and gentlemen, on a Saturday. We roll all the way through the week and we finish up on a Friday. It's 7 days. Thank you so much for being here. And I also want to thank those of you that are coming back, watching us at 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever time you decide to watch us at. Really do appreciate you guys coming back and making the choice to actually watch us there. So thank you so much for doing that. And I want to tell you that really appreciate you guys coming back and watching us at whatever time it is you're watching. 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 a.m., 10 p.m., whatever time it is. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get to our master topic. We have a really great one this week. Understanding how to tell a story. We're on series 2, which means we're in year 2. We're on show number 4, episode number 2. That's how you read that. So we're talking about how to tell a story. So most people, when they tell a story, they want to tell about all the things they want to share, but they really don't make the story interesting enough so other people will want to listen to it. It's simple. So that doesn't mean that you can't tell a story the way you want it. It just means that you've got to be cognizant of other people and what they want to hear. So if you're telling a story, for example, about the fact that you went parasailing and you see the other person is kind of like, pulling back. So maybe you should talk a little bit more about the other part of your trip. Maybe you went on a trip and you talk a lot of parasailing, but you see they're not really that interested in parasailing. So you come back and say, well, not only did we go parasailing, but we also went on the beach. And so you want to kind of captivate them, right? The thing about a story is that stories are very, very unique. And because they're extremely unique, they allow us to incorporate so many great things into our life and other people's lives. Now, when we think about a story, right? Most people will think about an author. They'll think about, let's say the preface of the book, the cover, again, the dedication of the book. They'll see how many chapters it has. Maybe it has a table of context, tense. Maybe it has an index. And usually, what we'll do is we'll read the preface, and then we'll maybe look through some of the chapters, titles, and then we'll read it, and we'll try to become part of the plot. Because if you just read something, it doesn't sink in, then what's the purpose of really reading anything, right? I think that's a very, very important thing. And so when we think about, making a difference, we want to tell stories that are going to inspire others, usually that are going to teach a lesson, share an experience, right? A story is a great way to get to know someone because you get into their personal world for just a few moments. And if the story is told properly, it should feel like they were right there in that foxhole with you. So many people I know tell stories, but they don't make them personal. They don't like talk about what happened. So let me give you an example. I'm going to give you a story of taking a trip that I had in Europe where we went down to the salt mine. All right. Well, we left our hotel. First, I'm going to tell you the way it should be told. Then I'm going to tell you how most people would tell. Well, we left our hotel in the morning, and the tour bus was there. We all boarded, and we left for the salt mine. And they told us what the salt mine was going to be like, and it was going to be dark. If you were claustrophobic, that you shouldn't get on the bus, but if you wanted to go, you could still, go through the store because there was like a little store. So a lot of people went. And when we got there, they told us that they were going to have to break us up. Basically, they couldn't take, there was about maybe I'm going to say 65 or 75 of us. They couldn't take all of us down at one time. So they broke us up into like, I'm going to say maybe a couple groups of like maybe 20 apiece, roughly. And we got to the salt mine. We were given a hat and like a little jacket kind of put on so that you didn't get dirty. And then we got on this you want to call it like a train, and it was in a very cold and dark area. And you were getting into the train. It was just like a regular train, nothing crazy. And you could see some light outside because it was right in the outside. But then as you looked further, you could see there was like a tunnel. Now, this wasn't a roller coaster or anything like that, but this train basically went around in a circle, and it kind of brought you down and down and down, as opposed to going straight down. It went around like a circle, and it was about, I don't know, maybe a 5 or 10 minute ride. And you were going down, and the guy who was leading this was telling us, that this is how they did it, and people were down there every single day of their lives, and we're only down there a little while, and we get to come back up. But some of the people had to spend their entire day down there. And I remember getting down there, and as soon as we got to the bottom, it was extremely dark. Okay, it was dark as we were getting down, and we got off the, let's say, the train, and you could just feel how cold it was. And then we saw how very small the areas were that they had to get in, and they had to work and be in all day long. And then when they stopped working, they got to move a little bit out so they could work, but still it was and rest, but it wasn't a big area. And so they would go down there very early in the morning because, they would go down early, and then they would come up, like at night, usually like 7 o'clock at night. So they would go down like around 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And, they would actually do coal mining. And if you're asking me, hey, John, what is coal mining? Because you might be saying, gee, what did coal miners do? So coal miners work very long hours inside the mine and traveled by basically an elevator deep underground to extract coal from the coal areas. And so we were lucky to have this tram, but they explained to us that most coal workers didn't have this. They just did this for the museum. They actually had to take a elevator down, and working as a coal miner was not easy. Life was a very hard one. They worked very long, arduous hours for very low pay. And there was a lot of danger there for themselves and their families. And the people really create a very close friendship with people, very tight knit, as they were kind of working in a foxhole, because one was always looking out for the other, making sure they were okay. And so mines could collapse, they could explode, vents could close unexpectedly, coal dust could cause serious respiratory problems such as black lung disease. And these conditions led to constant conflicts over different working conditions, but they also had put together a very powerful sense of pride among the forged miners and their families. So the question is, coal miners started around the 1920s. And this was in Alabama. There was an Alabama coal strike, and it was a statewide strike of the United Mine Workers of America against the coal mine operators. And the strike was marked by racial violence and ended in significant defeat for the union and organized labor in Alabama. So do coal miners still exist today? Well, in the United States, coal mining is shrinking. In 1923, there were right around 883,000 coal miners. Today, there are about 53,000. So working in coal mines is very dangerous still. You have to deal with those toxic gases, plus the threat of being crushed or drowned or injured from fires and explosions. And so you're probably wondering, how this all works. So some miners loved it. It became part of their family tradition to work in a coal mine. It was exciting, and the pay got better as they moved on. And when a mine closes, miners would often work in other mines elsewhere than to retrain. So that was important. There were coal miners who spent 17 years working in mines. And they love the experience of it, even though it was a very hard job. It was very dark. It was very dirty. It was very dangerous. And it's not for everyone. It was for the few who love to descend into the, let's say, the caves of the earth to extract black gold. And they face serious risks of mines collapsing, catching on fire, long term health threats, and black lung. But people still enjoyed it. And so we heard about the story and we really got to experience it. We got to touch the coal samples that were there. And we were only down there for a little bit. And the tour guide says, you're going to get to go back up in a few minutes. But these people had to be down here all day long. And so we boarded the train to go back up. And as we boarded to get back up, it was like, like the relief of sigh when we got to that fresh air. And other people couldn't wait to get back on. And, we got off. Then we went to the gift shop. But it was a very interesting experience. Now, let's tell it the way most people would tell the story. Okay. So we got up in the morning. A bus was outside. We boarded it. And after we got off the bus, we got on the tram to the train. And we took that down. And we looked at some of the paths and how they did coal mining. It really wasn't a great area. It was very stuffy. It was dangerous. And then we got back on the tram. We came back up and went to the gift shop. See how I left out so many details? That's because the second story was not really a good storytelling. So if you're going to share an experience in your life, you've got to make sure that you share as many details as possible. I mean, you don't need to list a million, but you've got to make the reader feel, or the listener feel, that they're part of the story, that they're right there with you. That's what it's about. So storytelling is something that I feel is a natural gift. It's a way to paint a picture for someone about something that they didn't experience, and trying to give them all the feelings, the thoughts, the emotions, the senses, as though they were there, but they were never there. That's pretty cool, right? Like I talked to you about the cold, the feeling of just the walls kind of closing in on you. You could feel not only the cold, but the sense, the black soot that was just like at every turn, and hearing those cracks from the tram. But remember, we had a tram because of the museum, but most people don't use the tram. So we went down to the coal mine. I also went down to a salt mine. Salt mine's a little bit different, and that was interesting too. But the important thing tonight I want to share with you is understanding how to tell a story. And we're going to work more on this. So when you want to share a story with someone, figure out what made you light up. Like, describe that to someone and what you could see, what you could hear, what you could touch, what you could taste, what you could smell. And that will bring those senses to them. Like, just think about it as though everything you were absorbing needs to be shared, because they don't have those senses. All right. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be with you this amazing Sunday evening. I hope you'll like, love, support the channel. Definitely comment below. Tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. And then be sure to go to my YouTube channel, John Space C Space MRLY Space Serial Entrepreneur. Look for that key phrase to help keep your content free. Make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, to buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a bowl of fruit, or a delicious piece of chocolate cake. Either way, we'll be grateful with those pennies and dollars. We'll invest into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, impactful content to change your life if you really want to. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. And remember, telling a story is an art. Practice, and you will get better. Take care, everyone.